Oof. Excuse me. Starting the stream with a healthy yawn in true my style. Hello, everybody. So, I guess there's a Libra full moon that's happening because I was going to be like, I think after the last time I went live, for some reason, all of my besties have been like hitting me up. Some of them, like, I've been wanting to talk to for a minute. One of them I've been wanting to talk to for a minute, just haven't gotten the opportunity. One of them, I mean, none of them I've really talked to recently. All of them I've wanted to. One of them just like out of the blue just sent me a message last week. And now everyone's like wanting to catch up. Like right now, tomorrow. Um Today, tomorrow. Excuse me. I was like, I don't know what's happening. What's going on? But I was at work yesterday, I think. And I was thinking about the Libra Aries again and the sort of sextiling energy between the Gemini Aries North nodes and the Sagittarius Libra South nodes, and how Taurus is sort of just in the middle. And then I was thinking about, well, what are the sextiles to Taurus? And that's either what, Pisces or Cancer. I was like, oh, snap, because after the Libra or the Aries Libra nodal axis, it'll be Pisces Virgo. And it's like, if this, like, I guess while we're still in Taurus Scorpio, and as we segue into Libra Aries, coming into energies of doing, it's like, well, by the time we reach Pisces Virgo, it's either going to be an opportunity for like something just beyond belief, like a literal dream to come true with the North Node in Pisces, or it'll be like, because Sagittarius came out with that Knight of Pentacles energy, it'll be like so slow and logical and methodical that by the time the South Node is in Virgo, it'll be like still like progress has been made, but it might not be as disconnected from reality. It might not be as fantastical, I guess. Or it might be bring lessons of like being a little less limited by what we deem as like realistic or feasible or reasonable. And again, if we act now, follow our intuition now, do whatever now, it'll be easier later. But you know, the nodes are still in Taurus and Scorpio. We ain't even made it to Aries and Libra yet. Hey Zada, how you doing? Excuse me. Luck with what job? What do you mean? What are you talking about, Zada? Hello? Did I talk about a job? Did you talk about a job? Excuse me. Hopefully, I'm going to bed early tonight. But today I was at work and I wanted to use the dice to pull random cards. Oh, you can't see them. Well, here's this, I guess, if you're interested. I'm going to roll the d4 to see which. I'll roll them at the same time. I'll roll the d4 to see which location I pull them from. 1 through 3 of the drawers. 4 is the cards that I don't put in a drawer because I ran out of space. Huh? I mean, I have to look for a new job towards the end of the year. But if there was something about a specific job, I don't remember. My brain cannot recall right now. Sorry. I'm gonna roll the D4 and then I'll roll the D6. If it's even, I'll do tarot. If it's odd, I'll do oracle. And then I'm gonna roll the D20. I'm gonna give it a few shuffles. I'll roll the D20 after every one, and then I'll just pull a card. I'll like go that number of cards, and then I'll pull. The first one I'll pull face up. Everything in between I'll pull face down, and then the last one I'll pull face up. And then we'll just connect the dots, I guess, and see what's what. I should do it with the wild unknown, because then that way I can like build out the cards or to get a story. Do a story time. I haven't done story time in a minute. But yeah, that's the idea I had. I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, I can probably guess because every time I say I don't know what's gonna happen, it's basically things that are already happening. So one, it's odd. So that's oracle. I'm actually gonna. I was like, I'm gonna choose. And I'm looking at the wild unknown archetypes, and I'm like, I kind of want to use the wild unknown archetypes, but at the same time, I don't want to use the wild unknown. I got the mystical shaman or the wild unknown. Oh, the enchanted map oracle. I'm gonna roll the D4 again. One will be the enchanted map oracle. Two will be the wild unknown archetypes. Three will be the mystical shaman, and four will be I'll roll again. Four, I'll roll again. Four, I'll roll again. Four, I'll roll again. Four, I'll roll again. Three, goodness, that was like 4 4s in a row. Three is the mystical shaman. Excuse me. Also, Amazon sent me an email about stuff that I might like or whatever. And there was this one deck that they notified me about. And I tried to open the email a minute ago, but I was at work, so it didn't load because I don't really get service at work unless I'm like outside. And then I was on Amazon earlier trying to buy some bamboo toilet paper because I was on a call with Reem and Russ a minute ago. And they were talking about bamboo toilet paper. So I was like, let me get some bamboo toilet paper. Bamboo toilet paper is not cheap on Amazon. But I was going to get some more, and the deck popped up. And I was like, ooh. I was like, okay. And then I was like, okay, I'm getting it. So you will see that in another deck. Who are you? I got this random card just on the table. 2 cards just on the table. The Ancient Ones and the Child. The Child of the Ancient Ones. Excuse me. Okay, Zelda. I've been exhausted most of the week. Actually, I think I was fine today. I had a dream a while ago. And it's funny because I actually read this dream in my app when I was searching for, I don't even remember what dream I was looking for, but I'm pretty sure I was live and I was searching through the journal and it popped up. And let me see if I can find it. Talking about the medicine of hot air, the medicine of cold air, and how to prevent ice buildup. I didn't even remember what dude was talking about when I wrote this dream down. But I had a dream that I was at my old church in the office part, and the air conditioner was broken, and my grandma was there, and she was talking about how there was somebody coming to fix the air conditioner. There isn't even an air conditioner like in real life. There's no unit where it was in the dream, but there was someone who came and who was obviously like not human looking. People just aren't, well, I guess if they're into like body mods and stuff, different people are born looking different ways, but dude looked taller and bigger than most people. Um, and he came to fix it. And I remember in the dream he was Neptunian, like he was from Neptune. And he was saying something about the heat or the hot air and the air conditioning for the cold air. And then he was like, if there's ice that builds up on the thing, it was something about like not letting ice build up or whatever. And what's interesting is I was at work today and it was a slower day. So I mean, even when it's not a slow day, I still spend a lot of time in my head because that's just me. Um, but yesterday, well, it was what, the Wednesday, the day before yesterday, they conjuncted exactly, but we're still in the orb. They're still conjuncting Neptune and Pisces. Earlier this week, I had to move stuff from one fridge to another because it was running high. And then yesterday, the guy said it was because ice had built up over the thing. It was frozen. And so they took care of the ice yesterday. And then today, the fridge was running cool again. So I moved the stuff back. But when I went upstairs to move the stuff back, I was like, wait, I had that dream about the dude from Neptune saying something about not letting the ice build up and how to take care of it if it does. Why? And then like this happens while Jupiter and Neptune are conjuncting. And of course, I'm like, oh, that's an interesting synchronicity, but I don't know what that means. So, okay. I'm just like, well, is anything significant happening in my life right now? Kind of, sort of, yeah. But again, like, I don't remember what he was talking about. I don't remember what the hot air means and the cold air. And I didn't even write it down. 3 super moons. One was really red, and the guy was Neptunian. And we're coming up on a lunar eclipse at the end of the month. I don't think it's going to be one of those blood moon lunar eclipses, though, because I don't think the moon is going to quite make it through the shadow to that point. Yeah, even when I did this, I think I remember talking to Reem about it. But if I was talking to Reem about it, it was probably a voice note. So I can't even like be like, what did I type? I don't know. Anyway, the staff is at the bottom of the deck. Excuse me. I'm so tired. But we'll see. I think too. I I find myself in a spot of just like wanting to soften up a little bit. Just a smidgen. Um what? Okay. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff happening, and I'm like, oof. I'm really reaching a point where I'm like, I don't know if I want this, or if it's time to move on, or if it's not. But anyway, let's clear the air and see what's up. So the first one, I rolled the D20 and I didn't mean to roll it yet, but I did. And the card is 14. I'm actually going to stop here. So the card at the top of the deck is the sacrifice, number 44. And it's interesting because this is the most fours I can get on one card. And I rolled like 4 4s on the D4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, it's this one. Many paths, 34. Oh, this was supposed to be face down. Oof. I already failed. I'll roll this again. Now it's 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ooh, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I should have had my 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My little dice thing so they don't roll off the table. 3. 1, 2, 3. 2. 1, 2. Okay. 19. I don't have 19 cards left. So I could pull. I wanted to clarify this before I did it. What happens when I get towards the end of the deck and I roll a number higher than I have cards? I think I'm just not gonna. My first thought was to just pull the last card. My first thought was to just not pull it. My second thought was to pull the last card. My third thought was to not pull it. And then when I was doing it, I was thinking I would reveal every card, all the cards left. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cards left. So I'll set these here and we'll see. We'll see how I feel when I get through these. Magic is at the bottom of the deck on the side of cards I've already sort of looked at, and that's number 33. So the sacrifice and many paths, 44 and 34. I guess with an oracle deck, it's better to have two. This is interesting because it feels like um, 19 is the sun, which is interesting. I guess if I look at these, it's air, the throat, and the sun. Um, but it feels like it's one of those energies of like someone that holds something up and then they break it. Like there's a stone and they break the stone and like there's this glittery stuff that sparkles out and then these many paths open up. Now, the way I read double digit numbers is the tens is spirit, the ones place is the tangible, the physical. And so we have this double stability, double um, sort of outlined energy in both the spirit and the physical on the 44 sacrifice. But then when we move to many paths, we're also going from an 8 to a 7. But when we move to many paths, and then there's a 6 in the magic, then when we move to many paths, it's like spirit steps back into the 3 energy of catalysis. So it's like pulling back to encourage us to like step forward. And that's like the most carrot on the stick, literally thing I've seen in a minute. Um, but if it's an energy of many paths, it's almost like spirit would be stepping back because it's like a true choice for us to make. And with the energy of a catalysis, it's like there's something that encourages us, or it's not encourages. It feels like there's something that pushes us forward. It's almost like the energy of a preview. Like we get a preview of what something is. Maybe it's a feeling. And then we don't get it. But in not getting it, it's like, well, at least now we know what we're looking for. Almost. But it feels like with the three, something is going to guide us even when we're in a period of making choices and decisions. The next card is the curse 14. So it feels like with the 34 mini paths, like that, it's like first they're like pulling back, and then it's just like even more severe. 44, 34, 14. And we stay at a four in the ones place. So it's like there's all this movement that's happening in the subtle and energetic realms, but it's not necessarily transpiring physically yet. It's not necessarily precipitating. I will, Zelda. Happy Easter to you. Excuse me. I forgot it was Easter Sunday already. I kind of don't. A lot of times I see the curse card. It's like, it's not that it's fine, but it never necessarily. How many times have I seen it? It usually for me carries an energy. Twitty, hey Kathy, how you doing? It usually for me carries an energy. It's almost like that which cannot be spoken, cannot be gained, maintained, or experienced. And so it's like for us to speak on things that we may not necessarily be able to, but here with the one, that's spirit is like take the leap. It's almost like um glad to hear it. It's almost like there's the encouragement at the 34 in the mini pads, but at the 14, it's just like it's time to go. It's like it's the time. So before that, it's like, hey, like, why don't you do this? Like, hey, like, we have this deadline coming up. Maybe you should start working on this thing now. It's like, hey, like, you got a week left. If you do, it's like, we're kind of pushing it, but if you do a little bit every day, you'll be fine. And then it's like, this is due in 2 days. This is due tomorrow. And then you're like, oh crap, I got to do everything. And so maybe since it is the curse, maybe there's an energy, it's like an energy of anticipation, but we don't know what we're anticipating. Maybe it's like an anxiousness or an anxiety, but you don't know why. And maybe that's what the three is too. It's like a prompting energy, but we might not necessarily be seeing the thing. But again, with like the prompt, with that readiness, it feels like when we encounter it, it will resonate at some frequency that hits that anticipation that we hold inside. So maybe also with the mini pass, it's just like we don't know until that moment happens. Then it's like, oh, snap. So it's almost like be ready for anything, be ready for everything. And again, it reminds me of that Belladonna card that you pulled, Twitty, on Twittyversing, about how sometimes it's just like there are things that happen for reasons that we don't understand, and we may think it's random or that there's no sense to it, but in reality, it's connected to a bigger picture and it's happening for a reason. We just don't see it in the moment because of our limited perspectives and knowing. Now, it could be a surprise. Could be a really big surprise and a good surprise. And so maybe the many paths here, it could be an energy of like shoring up foundations because we stay at the four physically. There's a like a 4-3-1 countdown. We missed the 24. I kind of want to see what the 24 is, which is the step in between the, the since it's 44, 34, 14. It's like there's a missing 24. Uh, to your Taurus, we still in Aries season. But happy birthday. Oh yeah, the new moon in Taurus. Maybe that's it. Oh, look. This is only two though. Well, there's the red moon. That would be the lunar eclipse. That's two moons. Oh, there's a third one up here. Because of the three moons and one of them was red. I don't know. I don't know. The next card is it the 24? It's the 6, the blade. This feels like the thing. So it's like we're counting down to something. There's an energy of anticipation and preparation. And it feels unexpected. But what I love about it is it brings the sort of physical into a harmony. Now we graduate from stability into harmony. And stability is nice when we're not used to it, but it's like stability in and of itself doesn't necessarily imply good or bad. You could be stably in a not great job, not great relationship, not great anything, but it's stable. Like it's not going anywhere. Like you can count on it being there. Might not be great. It could be amazing and it's stable. So you know it's not going anywhere. It just speaks to the stability. But the six harmony speaks of a sort of, it's more, well, I guess in the same way, things can be very harmoniously not great too. And something that's harmoniously not great is just like, if you're having a bad day and you stub your toe and then this happens and then another thing happens and it's like all day things are constantly happening. But it feels more just on connotation good. Now the thing about harmony is that sometimes, well, let's just stop here. We've essentially gone to zero in the spirit because it's number 6. but that feels like a new Genesis point. Very like cosmic egg, white egg. What's a white egg? I mean, I guess a lot of eggs are white, right? I was like, it's like white egg energy. I was like, isn't that just like an egg? Aren't a lot of eggs white? You know, if I say picture an egg in your mind, maybe some people will go Robin's egg blue because, you know, whatever. I don't know. But anyway. Hey Steph, how you doing? Saturn finally leaves Aquarius and enters Pisces in March 2023. Then my Saturn return will officially be all the way over. It's like exact right now. It should be. My Saturn return should be exact. Oof. Let's see. Let's see. Where are my transits? Ooh, the moon is conjuncting my Jupiter. Oh, wow. What? The moon is conjuncting my Jupiter. Venus is conjuncting my sun. Jupiter and yeah. It's over. Woo! My Saturn return is separating 0.1 degrees. Jupiter is on my Mercury. Neptune is on my Mercury. Saturn is on my Saturn. Venus is on my sun. The moon is on my Jupiter. Let me see what my transit chart looks like. I can't even read this. This is crazy. What does this mean? The inside chart is mine. The outside chart is not mine. I can't read that. Anyway. I think I should. Excuse me. I sit in the car all the time. The full punk, the full pink moon. I think I was trying to say punk. The full punk min is tonight and tomorrow. And Libra. I don't know if it's pure, but yeah, I just sit in the car sometimes. It's like I think it might be the way that this one is. And maybe it's since the screen is smaller, it would be easier to see if it were larger. There's some trines actually. There's a lot of trines and sextiles. My birth chart is mostly squares, maybe. I think I have like squares and oppositions are my highest aspects. I got a lot of trines and sextiles. Not a lot of trines. I don't know. Anyway, back to this. Back to this. My brain is just like my Neptune is natally in Pisces. My Mercury is natally in Pisces, retrograde in my 12th house, and Mercury is about to retrograde. I get confused easy. But so in the tens place, we go 4-3-1-0. Completely skip two. Literally 43, 34, 14, 6. Maybe since like the spirit side is at the 0 and the physical side is at the resonance of harmony. Maybe it's 6 is more resonance than harmony. Maybe this is the space where like they collide. I never noticed the moon. I saw this one like in real life. If I'm looking at this card in real life, these other moons are not as pronounced. In real life, I can't see these. I can only see this when I look at the card. It wasn't until I held it up, I was like, oh, snap. And I feel like, again, it plays into the energy of like resonance and alignment. I can barely, barely, barely see them. And that's because I know they're there now because I held it up in the camera. It also almost looks like an eyeball. Doesn't it look like a giant eye with like stuff spilling out? Is that literally the gate of Sahakiel? And it almost feels like there's a little bit of a vomity energy here too. It's like they're holding the mouth and then bleh, it all comes like spilling out at the bottom. And it makes me think, I don't know who it was, but it makes me think, I think it was my journey buddy. It makes me think of like what happens to the stuff that we manifest that is for us as it sits in the energetic. It's almost like it accumulates over time. And if enough time has passed, by the time it's dispersed, it's like huge because it's been building interest. It could even be like ancestral or just like old. So the next card is 11, the Council. I see this card so gosh darn often. I feel like every time I use this deck, the Council comes out. What I like about the Council is, though, it's after the Blade sort of brings in this energy of not necessarily overlaying, but harmonizing, resonating the spiritual and the physical. We end up in the same space again, but since it's an 11, it's like there's this energy of progression and movement on both sides. Like physically now we're moving and spirit is also moving. Excuse me. Now this is a completely different dynamic because it's like with a 4-3-1 of spirit trying to like get us to move. It feels like that's when it feels like we had to be led. But with the 11 and with the energy of a council, it feels a lot more collaborative. Yeah, right. You should. I haven't looked at my progress chart though, Kathy, because I know you'll reference your progress chart sometimes, and I'm just like, oof. I know for a minute I was 28, and my progress chart was like literally the same as my birth chart, but my sun was different because I was born. It seems like I was born either like when some planets were retrograding or right before they went retrograde. So I have like four planets that are natally retrograde, and I think I was born with at least another two in their pre-retrograde shadow. So on my progress chart, a lot of the planets are in the same sign. It's either like they went direct and so now they're moving forward again, or they went retrograde so now they're moving backwards. But overall, I'm still young enough that most of them haven't moved into a different sign. Um, and like my moon was back in um, Taurus. My progress moon was back in Taurus because I was like 28. I think it's roughly every 28 years. Your progress moon, excuse me, your progress moon will be in the same sign as it is natally because that's like the moon. Like every 28 ish days, we go through a whole zodiac cycle, a full moon and a new moon at least every month. So it travels through the whole 12 signs. Now, next is the heart of the sky. And the heart of the sky is number 24, which is the step that we skipped between many paths in the curse. Which again, I feel like the fact that it reads as like something that couldn't have been spoken or something that we just would not have understood. Because we were supposed to, it was supposed to go 44. If there's a pattern, it's supposed to go 44, 34, 24, 14, and then 4. But the 24 was skipped. It's not until after the 11 that both the physical and the spiritual are sort of moving forward. And it's not until they come into this harmonization resonance point with the blade that we get the 24, and it's giving us the heart of the sky. What's the last card? It's the Andean cross, number 2. So now it feels like we enter the same polarity, though, but it's different. Maybe we understand it better. I mean, the council, the heart of the sky, and then the Andean cross, like this, the last 3 cards are like, hey, wait. So sacrifice many paths in the curse on the left side of the blade. On the right side, the council, heart of the sky, Andean cross. Something about this, it feels like predestined, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like there weren't other paths. There weren't other things that could have happened. It kind of sort of almost in a way reads a little bit like highest timeline. But I don't know if highest is necessarily the word. Excuse me. You just heard an astronomy explanation of your chart. It's a very weird party. Like a weird party in a fun way. You pulled the council yesterday, Steph? Oh, there you go. What? You pulled it too? Oh, snap. Oh, you pulled the Indian cross and the council? Oh, snap. Now, what do I do with these last 12 cards? I have a D12. I'll roll a D12 and I'll pull one of them. Maybe that's how I'll do it. Finally, you understand your chart, and it took the astronomy to make it make sense. 4. Of course, it's another 4. 4 is apparently the number of the day today. Why would it be anything else? So the 4th card, 1, 2, 3, 4, is the staff. The staff was at the bottom of the deck when the child and the ancient ones came out. The beloved 4 or 5, the beloved is at the bottom. I looked at it anyway. Excuse me. I should go to bed early tonight. I gotta wake up tomorrow. Um, This is a 51. It's interesting that a 5 pops up now, and we didn't get a 5 before. And I feel like it's because of the curse. It's almost like because the staff is it's honestly reading like there's some kind of power that we hold within ourselves that we've lost touch with. But it feels like it's currently inaccessible. And so it's almost like it's that two footprints or two pairs of footprints in the sand, and then there was only one, almost. Because it's like, again, we're both progressing. The physical and the spiritual are progressing to the 44. And it reminds me of when I used the Enchanted Map Oracle. No, actually, I think it was these cards. And it was like, no, because it was a 91. There aren't 91 cards in this deck. Or maybe it was like it was something that like we had gone, no, it was a 9. Maybe it was 59. And it's like we had maxed out in the physical, and spirit was trying to bring us like further along, but we couldn't get there because we had already hit our physical limitation. So it's almost like with the 4, they're on the same page, but to go further, like to go any further than that, the stability that was existed between the physical and the spiritual would have been broken. And so it's like the spiritual retreated back to move the physical up to then now show us the thing beyond that we couldn't see before. And that's the curse. It's like it couldn't be spoken, it couldn't be communicated to us. And that could be for any number of reasons. It could be related to traumas that we have that keep us from being able to experience or engage with certain things. It can just be like the technology isn't where it needs to be in order for some like more sci-fi concepts to be more reality. For example, just like flying cars, right? If we all of a sudden discover some kind of anti-gravity, whatever, then like that's what would make it possible. It's not that we can't necessarily like conceptualize and theorize how to do it. It's just that like we don't have anything that necessarily to public knowledge works. And so it's almost like it reharmonizes in a way at the Blade 6. And then again with the 11 Council, maybe there's a flash of something that gets us to connect deeper. So it's almost like there was supposed to be this step here. Oh, I wish I either used my overhead camera or I had more hands or I had pictures that I can just move on the screen. So like this is the current path, right? It's the sacrifice, many paths, and the curse. But it feels like we're supposed to hit this heart of the sky 24 after many paths, and the heart of the sky takes us down to Andean Cross. But it's like we can't get down to Andean Cross because of this curse energy. And so that's why something has to be cleaved so that we can almost in a way communicate more directly, or we can see. I don't know if we necessarily see the other paths that we can't see. And it's interesting, it's an energy of many paths. And then as soon as we come into many paths, oh, well, you can't do door number 3, 4, 5, 10, a million. Maybe our many paths is like door number 1 or door number 2. And it's like, but I see all those other doors out there. It's like, oh, yeah, don't, those doors don't exist. And you're like, Okay, so I guess I'll pick number 2 if, I can't pick anything beyond that. Or 4. Let's say there are 4 doors, because the number 4 is popping up. Um, and so it's almost like, because there's no sight here, the eyes are closed, but it feels like there is some kind of communication. Or it's just like us seeing something that makes something more possible. It doesn't make it more possible. Maybe this is it. I mean, I talked about it, so I guess I shouldn't be surprised if the energy sort of bleeds through a little bit. But maybe it's some of that Virgo South Node, Pisces North Node energy, where it's like we'll get an idea, and the Pisces North Node energy will be to go for it, no matter how outlandish or far fetched or delusional it may seem. Go for it. Like you've already had experience through North Node Aries, North Node Taurus, North Node Gemini, and the many years before of when something beyond your ability to perceive happens. But then the South Node Virgo will be like, either it'll doubt it, it'll overthink it, and it won't go for it, or it'll like overly process it to the point where it just like at Knight of Pentacles is something that could happen in a lot less steps. Was it you, Steph, Twitty, or was it Shayna? I think it was Kathy, Steph. Who was talking about the Aztecs? It was either Kathy, Steph, or Shayna. It was one of y'all. I don't remember which one. It might have been, I don't know. Every time I'm like, maybe it was, and then it's like, well, it could have been the other one. Somebody was talking about the Aztecs. Maybe it was Shayna. Oh, it was you, Kathy? Okay. I was like, maybe it was Kathy. But I was like, no, but was it Steph? Was it Shayna? I don't know. I don't remember. I know the moi. I do not know how to pronounce that other word, but I'm assuming that's French for it was me. Verbs now from archetype. But again, with the 2 in this Andean cross, though, it feels like something that always was. Because the 2 is like a duality, it's polarity, it's another side, it's the other. And it's interesting because maybe me. Oh, okay. Um, because it feels like with the blade and the 6, there's this again, it's like a resonance. And it feels like in that harmony we see so many like similarities. And there's a lot of camaraderie. And that's why it's like after that, now it's like we're on the same page with spirit. So we no longer fight the things that our intuition tells us to do. We're in a space to like be brave and bold and daring and to just move when our intuition tells us to move. And then it's like we hit another sort of stability point where we see the duality of spirit. And it's like we're in harmony with the fact that spirit, the etheric, the energetic is just the subtle. It's dual aspected in nature at the very least. It's multi-natured, but it's dual aspected in nature. And then it's like it's almost like there are so many more facets to the subtle that we see that it's completely different than the physical. It's not completely different, but we see the differences. And so it's almost like, well, isn't that the way that we approach? Let me stop. Let me breathe. Let me breathe. Oh, I hit the edge of chili pepper territory. So, but anyway, it's like we have to see it as so similar before we're really able to accept or more fully recognize the differences. And maybe it's just the fact that it's like when something is so different that we feel that we have no connection to it, it makes it hard to relate to. It makes it hard to like cement and ground that dynamic. And maybe that's why Libra is carrying some South Node energy right now. Or the Libra South Node energy is already sort of like bleeding through. But it's almost like in that similarity, like that again with the four, that'll start to like stabilize and build out and anchor our position. And then it's like, well, let me show you like how I'm different. And so then after that, again, we end up with the staff. Spirit sitting at the five, an energy of change, us sitting at the one, an energy of forward momentum, action, and movement. And so it feels like we've gained some insight and perspective that we might have lost somewhere along the way of history and all kinds of things, or just living life. And we're able to step forward in like really significant ways. It's almost like there's an overhaul, like spirit wants to overhaul the physical, the subtle and energetic wants to overhaul how things actually work, the space of our collective dreams and desires, and the way like the lives we want to experience and the way we want governments to work and all like all kinds of things. But it's almost like it's a little bit beyond, it's not beyond what we're capable of. It's not outside of the realm of potential, but it borders on the realm of actualization. And so we have to like catch up in some ways before we really get there, before we realize that it's actually more feasible than we think it is. So again, I'm going to say it's pulling on the Pisces Virgo nodal axis after the one that we're currently in, because it just feels like that energy. It's like, are you going to be able to be Piscean, like, and just go for it, believe in it? Or are you going to be more Virgonian and like rationalize it out of existence? And again, it's nothing against Virgos, it's nothing against Libras, it's nothing against anybody. Especially when it reads like this, it feels more like the energy of um, an aspect of the collective, because we all have these aspects within us to different degrees. So it's not your sun, moon, or rising always. But I think again, it's like that's why the Aries energy is like really North Node Aries energy is like really coming out. Like go for it, do it, because then later we'll have more of a case when it comes to certain things. Because again, it's like we would have already experienced accomplishing, achieving, or experiencing something that we dreamed of at one point in time, or something beyond what we were even capable of dreaming of. Like spirit, the subtle, understands our nature so well. But again, it's almost like with high priestess energies, like how can you convince someone that they're going to like something before they've even had an experience of it, especially if that person is skeptical or cynical? So it's almost like spirit has to Virgo us so we can Pisces. Is that how the nodes work? Okay, cute. I kind of want to do another one. I'll get a tarot deck now. And I'm going to re-roll these. I don't need this one. So I'll re-roll the D4 to see which drawer I'll pull a tarot deck from. Number 3. I have the in between. No, I don't. Yeah, I do. I have the in between tarot down here, right? Is this like an in between energy? Please hold for production as I sip from my not sponsored cup. If you know, you know. It's all just melted ice now. I mean, I also have the Tarot Apocalypsis. I actually have a few tarot decks down here. I could use the vice versas. I have the Osho Zen. I have the Dreams of Gaia. I'm gonna need another roll of the dice because I don't know which deck to pick. I'll roll the D10 because it's one I haven't used yet. It's like I'm rolling the D8. Oh, and yeah, there's magic down here with the 33. I forgot about that. I love the 33 of magic, especially as an after, because both of these are a 6. I love it. After the staff. Because now it's like there's this, because a 3 is a catalytic number. So it's almost like now we're in a position to push for things to change in the subtle and energetic and spiritual worlds as the spiritual world pushes for things to precipitate into the physical world. And so it's almost like, and I guess I put it under the blade because it was at the bottom and the blade is in the middle. So we we do have 3 6s between the 6, the 51, and the 33, and the 24. But it's like it feels like communication. It's like we're like, hey, like spirit, this is what I'd like to experience, and I would like for this to be changed in a certain way, and that to be blah blah blah, whatever. And spirit's like, okay, well, in the physical, we would like for these things to happen, and it's like a very compromising, very reciprocal, like relationship. Instead of like one leading the other or one making demands on the other. And it's magic. I mean, isn't that literally? I mean, yeah, it's very, very that. And again, it feels like a potentiality that humanity's had within it from the very beginning. But because of maybe power dynamics and class systems and stuff like that, and just the way that the world works, it's like maybe sometimes we don't feel like we have opportunities, or we don't feel like we have as many opportunities, or we feel like there are certain things to do to get opportunities. And for a long time, it's like it was that way intentionally. And so maybe that's another one of those, like, how do you show someone who feels like they have no control in their life that they have a lot more than they think they do? Like, what are the steps? Again, that's why it feels like sometimes spirit has to Virgo us for us to Pisces into more, or to expand and be a little broader. Under this is the 14, the 31. Sorry, it's the 31, the lower world. Of course, it's the lower world, but anyway. But anyway, excuse me. I think I would say it's through a series of Virgo Sun in the 12th house of Pisces. And wait, you love a Pisces? I love a Virgo. Virgos are my best friends. I had so many Virgo best friends growing up. And even the Virgos that hated me eventually loved me. Let me stop. Anyway. 2. Ooh, see, I would go 1, 2. But I'm scared of this deck. This deck feels the most resonant to this energy. It's the Dreams of Gaia. So, oh, the mystical shaman and the Dreams of Gaia is a combination that is honestly it's like difficult for me to understand because I feel like I have to be so open and like present. It's not necessarily straightforward all the time, or most of the time, or ever. Hardly ever. But we're gonna try it. We're gonna go for it. I love it. It's just intimidating. It's just intimidating AF. So you stay up there, please. There we go. There we go. Aww. Well, thank you, Twitty. Call the Northman. What? Holly. Hello, Holly. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. In Chile. Look at Chile leading the way. Hey. I'm scared. Well, maybe scared is the wrong word. We'll see. We'll see. I've not been led astray yet. I feel like more often than not, I kind of sort of find a flow after I give up. It's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna have to channel this one because I don't know where this is going. I was like, what is this? I don't get it. I just gotta like feel my way around, and then when I hit it, it's like, oh yeah, that's it. And then it's like, sometimes it's like, other times it's like, still feeling, still feeling. Let's see. I'll get a few shuffles, and then I'll start rolling the D20. So now we have a 2, which is wait, hold up. The sacral. Where's my D4? Oh, it's right here. A 3 and 2. Air, the sacral, the throat, Cancer, and the sun. This is almost feeling it right here. This is it. The top card is it's the 7 of Fire. I don't know if I've ever seen this card before. Let's see. Now let's roll the D20. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is going to be so many cards. Is that a 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, well, this card flipped over. Masculine, feminine, which was 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it's going to clarify that one. 20. My first net 20. Whoop, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not many cards left. 18. Don't have that many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is what I'll do. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. The Father. So the sun has actually turned into the moon. At first, the bottom was a 19, or the last D20 I rolled was a 19. Now it's an 18, which is interesting. What? 13 years of drought. Oh, the Andes and the Andean cross. I never put that together, Holly. Thank you. Everything that I'm talking about with the nodes, like the nodes are currently North Node Taurus, South Node Scorpio. That was like North Node Aries, Aries Libra, and then North Node Pisces Virgo. So that's like a timeout. But it feels like we're setting the precedent. We have an opportunity to set precedents now for taking bold action and experiencing the unimaginable and achieving the unthinkable, so that by the time that future energy is more present, it'll be easier to make whatever leap, change, or whatever, when that comes. So you're in your moon tarot year. I think I am too. Is that what this means? I'm just like, what's interesting though is like these two, like father like daughter question mark. And look, they both have, well, are those, yeah, they both have these like felines too. See, but it feels like the seven is in between, and the father has like picked one. Also, the father has brought it more into reality, whereas with the seven, it's either like under the cover of night, where we're not necessarily expressing it as much, or it's still like in a dreamy, etheric, not yet real space. And is that a moth? Looks more moth than butterfly on her third eye. And I guess I love that it's a moth instead of a butterfly if this is happening at night. The Faja. Oh. And then the three of air is under the father. I actually like that three of air energy, that card. So, really what? So let's start. The first card is the Nine of Water. It's almost reading like this is the version of ourselves. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it is. Right? I'm pretty sure it is. It's like this is the version of ourselves that we wish to be. Or it's almost playing on council energy a little bit. It's a little bit playing on the council because her third eye is open as she's looking up. And what's interesting is, it's almost like this. See how like the hands are removed from the mouth? And now they're on the throat. Oof, you see the throat lit up. I don't know if the throat is lit up. It kind of looked like between the fingers, it almost looked a little lit. Almost. She's like, ooh. Like you ain't been able to. It's almost that like I've literally been here the whole time. You've just not been able to hear me. But now I'm gonna speak. I'm about to say some things that might blow your little mind. And it's like, what? She's like, yeah, the whole time. But again, that was like the 51 with the staff. It's like it feels like something that's been present the whole time. We just haven't been able to see it or connect to it. The next card is, if I can get that one out the way, the hero. So maybe this is a little bit of like 633. Maybe this is a little bit of like a higher self, the version of ourselves that we wish to be, or it's the version of ourselves that we are when we achieve and accomplish all the things that we dream of. Because it is Nine of Water, Nine of Cups, wish fulfillment, wish granted sort of energy. And the next card is the hero, which it feels like this is when we become that person, or we take on traits of this in a very sort of like embodied way. We see the eye that is like dark, and then the eye that is the sun. With the third eye, where was that? Who had the moth? Oh, it was her. The moth on the third eye. And maybe it finally reaches it and it's like lit. I don't know if this is like a Two of Swords type energy and a Two of Pentacles type energy. I say Two of Swords because of the two spear looking things, and then the Two of Pentacles because of the two crystals dangling from the horns. This is really, though, it's feeling like the staff and magic. Um, like that feels like us feeling like our voice matters and our actions matter. And we actually have the ability to like make changes and do stuff. And with the Two of Pentacles, it feels like it's also accepting, um, it's not the burden of responsibility. It's like us accepting that some things won't necessarily change immediately or easily. And so there's also a sort of steadfastness in it. Like if this is something that I want, I'm willing to do what I need to for as long as I need to see it made manifest. Now the next one actually came out with the clarifier. That was feminine masculine. And that card, it's the Eight of Water. There's a lot of like water fire. This is literally like fire, water, fire, fire, and water. The joy of accountability. Ooh, the joy of accountability. You said you're a Virgo, right? Sorry. I'm just playing. see. Maybe this is just bigger picture energy. Because, like, this is us embodying the hero. It's like, be the hero that you wished for or needed or wanted when you were in this position. Like, this is us becoming the person that we wish would have done something for us, right? But it feels like this brings it more to the collective, or it's like bigger picture. So instead of like, these are things that I would like to manifest in my life, then it's like this makes it more like, these are things that I would like to make manifest in the world. And it's not that they're necessarily separate, but it's like, you can't pour from an empty cup. So before you can pour into another cup, you got to make sure you at least have enough to pour out what you need. And because, like, you can't necessarily flip the deck and pull number 18 from the cards that you already looked through because you ran through the cards that you had left. Right. And so maybe there is just a part of it that is more self-centered and that is more self-focused. And it doesn't make anybody selfish, self-centered, or bad necessarily. But it's like, we do have to be in a space and position to have the space to consider others, I guess. Some of us need to. On the other hand, some people can be so overly focused on other people that they neglect themselves. And then in that case, it would work like the other way around. Then it's like, okay, everyone else is good. No one needs you right now. So now here's a moment for you to focus on you. And either way, it can be challenging and daunting. Um, Especially if it's not something that we're used to. But it just feels like the masculine feminine connects us to something deeper, because it's like now we go from these fiery energies like to this dragon that's sort of like behind the masculine feminine. Oh my gosh, is that the hero? Is that literally the hero? Not well, they look fairly similar. Is that the hero? What was a bear becomes a dragon. And so that makes me think of, and at least Lakota um, tellings about Tatanka and the Wankantanka, and how it was a bear that sort of introduced Tatanka to the Wankantanka. And it was the bear that helped Tatanka gain access to the Wankantanka when he was invited to be a part of that council with the council card and the cooperation with the council card. And so it's almost like we meet an emissary and we go from just that emissary to more of the organization or more people on the council. Or it's just like, it's bigger, it's more than we necessarily thought before. And now we are sort of like, again, with staff energy, aligned chakras. Aligned chakras is like a staff energy, the spinal column. Um, but it's like now we're in a position to like feel and sense farther out. There's also, again, this like warm, cool water, fire, sun, moon energy. Is this 7 cards again? I think I got 7 cards again because I've already flipped over 3. Here's the one in the middle, and then I got 3 more on the other side. So when I was talking about the blade being that harmony and stuff like that, like this is coming out where the blade was. Now we're seeing sort of like beyond the beyond. It's all water and fire. Amber Heard's birthday is April 22nd. I have no clue who that is, Holly. Admittedly. You do know a spreadsheet and financial statement. I could use well, I'm decent right now because my expenses are temporarily paused. Now we have abundance, no element associated with it. It's like now the dragon that existed beyond everything else that the hero has, like a space that the hero has access to. And it's like now they're like communicating directly. But again, it's like what's interesting here though is that it feels more like it comes in to work with the Nine of Cups energy because of the color scheme. And it feels less like it's coming to work with the Seven of Wands hero energy, which again, for me, it's almost like it feels like there's this energy that it's like it builds us up, it hypes us up, and then it shows us how much we pale in comparison. But it doesn't show us how much we pale in comparison to make us feel powerless again. Cause, like, we've done that cycle. But it's like it's just for us to understand that even when we are operating in the fullness of our potential, there are still things that are beyond our control. There are still going to be things that are beyond our knowing. And again, it feels like that's the everything was building up to the blade overlay just to at the Indian cross show you how like different you are. But it's like that's the part of us that the dragon works with. And so maybe it's an almost humility, but humility isn't the word because again, it's like it's not, it doesn't feel like it's to humble us. It doesn't feel like it's to for us to then make ourselves like less than. It's not for us to be in any less power than we were before we are shown like the full magnificence of whatever. It's like we don't have um oh, what are the like life-changing moments where we experience that there's so much more to the world and life than we knew for us to go like, oh, I don't know anything, let me go return to my ignorance and like wallow in it for the rest of my life. It's like no, like it's just to show you how much bigger it is, and then it can get you excited to like go and explore the rest of it. It has the opportunity to like that realization has the opportunity to awaken some new level of passion or desire or whatever within us. I almost flipped the last two at the same time. Then the next card is the Nine of Earth. So now we get some Earth, a break from all the water and fire. And it's after abundance, Nine of Pentacles. See, in this, it's almost like now in the physical, this cup is actually being presented to us to drink. It's like here when the curse was broken, it's like, it's the thing that's now it can be spoken of and it reveals it, but it doesn't necessarily give it to us. It doesn't necessarily offer it. So because of that, and I guess because of the dragon, it is a little bit of stankness energy. And it feels like there's a healthy sense of pride there. It's not pride that borders on egotism, But it feels like that self assuredness is important. And the last card is the counselor. Instead of the council, we have the counselor, which is number 12. The council was number 11. And more water energy. But see how, like, the counselor is so much different than the one in the nine of water. Also, look at this. So it feels like the counselor is a different type of embodiment than the hero. They're both 12s. Oh, it's the 12 of water and the 12 of fire. Maybe that's why. They're both 12s. And it's like it's different ways. Maybe it's like it's similar in terms of embodiment, but it's different in terms of the masculine feminine. Because it feels like the masculine version would be the hero, and the feminine version would be the counselor. But the counselor is more masculine, and the feminine is more of the hero. Feels like more of a feminine illustrated face. And so it's like there's an expansive projecting and embodiment, and then there's um the other side, the other side embodiment, a receptive. Like there's the projective environment, like this is a push this is something I'm pushing for to change external to me, which is again, it's like it came out early because in the beginning a lot of us are wanting to change things about our personal lives. But we're human. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing bad about it. But it's almost like at some point, when does our perspective or consideration increase to that beyond just ourselves and our well being? Um, and it feels like that's the 33. I mean, 12 is a three. This is literally three and three. But it feels like that's the 33 where like it's the double catalytic. Like there are things that we ask for from spirit that spirit cooperates with us to provide. And there are things that spirit asks of us that we cooperate to provide. And so it's almost like that's what takes it from singular, isolated experiences to more and more and more people in the collective being able to also reach that space. And it's not necessarily anything that we have to preach. It's like it's through that embodiment that it's seen. It's experience. It's just like Twitty said earlier when I posed the question of like, how do you get someone to see something that they don't even like believe in or whatever? And it's like teaching slash being the example. Because that's another thing that opens up our eyes to see that something is actually possible. It's another thing that begins to remove the hands from the curse. And then it puts us in a position where maybe we can't necessarily be that person yet, but we can start to envision like who that person would be. Like if I was the person that, I wish I could be like, I would do this and I would have said this and blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, well, it comes a point in time when we do have to do a little more than just wish that we are that person. These are the opportunities that we take to actually be that person with the hero. And then after that, at some point, again, it's like we come back to the counselor. This is where we end up. And so both the fire and the water are important. It feels like it's literally right here. And this was the card that came out by itself when I was like trying to get when I was trying to get the 8 of water. This card just like flipped out. Um but this is us sort of again, it's learning that balance between, even though it looks all fiery, it looks all like the hero. It feels like the energy of the counselor is still, it's in there too. So, and I guess that's how you change the world, one person at a time. And sometimes we start with ourselves. Sometimes it's easier for us to start with other people and then we go to ourselves. And it'll be different for everybody. So it's like at the end of the day, allow for your path to be your path, but also allow for the opportunity of expansion and growth and healing and more, like a lived more, to not just be able to be sensitive to more and to expand our um, perceptory abilities, but to expand our capabilities to like experience and embody as well. And I'm satisfied with that. That's what I got. That's what I got. Interesting. And again, I feel like when I see the counselor card, the council, when I see the council, though, for some reason, for me, it comes out a lot of times, it's this. Like, this is the council. This is the energy outside of the council. This is the energy above. This is the energy that precedes and supersedes. And again, it's like that's why the council is actually our introduction to, through the heart of the sky, the Andean cross. And so it's almost like council energy presents itself, and it's just like the dragon and the abundance card. It presents itself in a way, but it's not to make us feel inferior, and it's not for us to pedestal them, but it's to form some type of cooperation. And for true cooperation and like true reciprocative cooperative spirit, everyone feels valued enough to participate fully and to not constantly defer to someone else's judgment. Oh, well, this person is smarter than me, so if this is what they say, then I'll believe them. Oh, this person has more experience than me, so if this is what they do, I'll do what they do. And it's like every person at the council, every seat at the table is filled for a reason. Every voice is important. It's like if we have the smartest and the most experience and you're just going to constantly defer to them, then like, why are you here? Like, we wouldn't be needed. We wouldn't have a seat if we didn't have something to contribute. And so that's why it's important for us to, again, to be humble enough to know and see when someone else has a knowledge and expertise and experience that we don't have, and that they also add value. But we also need to be confident and sure enough of ourselves and our own voice that we also participate, because 3 heads are better than two and 2 heads are better than one. I guess 1 head would be better than none. um but yeah, it's like it's not to disempower us. Just because somebody is more knowledgeable, that doesn't mean that what we have to say doesn't matter. Just because someone is more experienced, that doesn't mean that our experiences don't matter. Because sometimes it's the thing that no one thinks of. And again, that's so North Node Gemini energy. North Node Gemini is the child who gives the simple solution that even the most knowledgeable and cultured and educated would never think of. because they overcomplicate the issue, or it's because they see with such a fine detail that it just it doesn't occur to them. Those are the Tiffany's of the world. And Tiffany saved that group. Tiffany saved that group. So when I was an RA, I we had to help with RA interviews, and I wanted to do the group interview part because I had such a good group interview experience, such a supportive, like my group was amazing. There wasn't anybody that was trying to like dominate the conversation. We all like validated and supported each other and participated and like gave our own thoughts, and because of that like we came to a consensus. Um, but so I like again, I had such a good experience. I wanted to do that part rather than the individual interviews. And I go in there and they're tasked with building the tallest tower they can with like connects or whatever. And I went to Purdue, and at Purdue there is like a supremacy thinking, like the engineers think that they're better than all the non-engineering majors, and then within engineering it's like mechanical thinks that they're the best, and electrical engineers think they're the best, and everybody poops on industrial engineers. So anyway, in the group interview there were two people in particular, and they were both dudes, but there were two people who really tried to dominate every single conversation to make themselves seem like knowledgeable or important or whatever. And so when it came time to build the tower, they're all like arguing over how to do it. And they spent a good like maybe 2 minutes arguing. And then Tiffany, she's like, I'm not an engineering major, so I don't really know, but why don't we just build what's on the box? And they're like, oh, yeah, let's do that. Because on the box, it was tall. Like the solution was like literally right in front of them. But with the ego and the need to be seen in a certain way, some people didn't see it. Others didn't participate. They didn't really like contribute any ideas. They more so like deferred to, again, like the engineer, the smarter ones. And there was like an entrepreneurship competition that they said it's only open to non-engineering majors. So I was in bioengineering. So technically, I was in the School of Agriculture and not the School of Engineering. And I was like, well, I'm in the School of Agriculture, so can I participate? And they were like, well, usually we don't let engineers participate. And they told me the reason why is because it's like when an engineer is there, it's like everybody else shuts down. When an engineering major, it's not even a full blown engineer. They're students just like everybody else. They learn it too. But it's like when engineering majors did it, everyone sort of like defers to them, or like it screws everything up. And so they were like, yeah, that's why we don't really. And I was like, oh well, if that's the nature of this, then I won't participate, because even if I'm not in the School of Engineering, like my classes are the same. Like I'm a biological engineering major, so I'm still an engineering major even though I'm in a different school. I could take advantage of this loophole, but I'm not, because that wouldn't be in spirit of the competition or whatever. But yeah, the hierarchy was so real that people would like think, and I feel like it's not necessarily people going in feeling that way about themselves and their major. It's like, they get there and that's the culture. Um, but anyway, the Tiffany's, it's for the Tiffany's. Like Tiffany was there for a reason. Tiffany is literally probably the only way that group at least had something, because between the more dominant personalities, and like what's interesting is the ones who dominated or tried to dominate the most did the worst. It's a group interview. It's a like where they're literally testing for team dynamics, your ability to work with other people. Like you like talking over people and dismissing other people, like that doesn't, you know, whatever. Anyway, so long, long, long. That's why the the Tiffany's are there, So we need Tiffany's because again, it's like the solution was right there. I didn't even think about it, and I'm a full of myself engineering major, so of course I didn't think about it. Also, I wasn't tasked with it. I was in observation mode. I was writing my notes about the two people that I was watching. So that's, but I would have just been like, oh well, let's just build it tall. I don't know. But she was like, why don't we just build what's on the box? I was like, you could literally build what's on the box. Maybe this is like, maybe I'll title this like build what's on the box. She was my favorite. I love Tiffany. Tiffany was awesome. I don't know if she became an RA, but I for gosh darn sure hope that she was at least offered the opportunity. But then, Tiffany was stellar. Tiffany was amazing. And then I find out later that she was dating a dude who was an RA that became the boss of the RAs, like the student boss of the RAs. And I was like it all seemed genuine in the interview. It all seemed legit, but was that a setup? Not a setup, but I was like, does she know what to say? But it's so much more than just like saying the right thing. It's a whole vibe. Because you can also tell when someone is giving you the answer that they know you want to hear to make them look like, they throw buzzwords around and stuff. You can tell when someone actually sort of believes and lives by the things that they say. Um, it just holds a certain weight to it, I guess, because of the authenticity of it. But anyway, that's what I got. This was interesting. And again, it's like I feel like it's so important to emphasize and reiterate that when we find out the difference between it's not again it's like it's not us to feel like we have power and choice and stuff only to realize we actually don't. um, but it's like I guess it's just like if it were another person, you know if it were us, we wouldn't want to have to constantly water down ourselves to be more palatable or approachable. And maybe at first, because we're not super close or super intimate, or because of the setting, we're more polite or whatever. Like if it's at work, if it's a formal setting, if there are socio economic, if there are social norms and pressures that lead to a certain type of behavior, and then like people get to know us, and then as we become friends they get to know us beyond that. It's like that energy. And again, it's not like a 180. It's not, well, it might be a 180, but it's not intended to just like be whatever. It's just like, this is what the energy actually is. Like, this is who I am in my full magnificence and radiance. Again, it was like in that hero card, not the hero, the masculine, feminine. And the masculine, feminine, it's like maybe that's what they presented. Then we find out it's a whole dragon in the abundance. And we're like, what? You were a whole dragon? It's like, yeah. But, when you were connecting to the space, I can just be like, I'm a whole dragon. Because then again, it feels like it would have been so easy to fall into that pedestaling energy. And even dragons have things to learn. You know what I mean? Even dragons have their roles and their parts in the play. Anyway, of Cindy's compass story. What's Cindy's compass? Oh, I think I remember her compass story. The IKEA challenge. Hey, well, I'm glad. I love being here for this one too. I'm glad it worked out. Because I was like, oof. I was like, either the dice are going to give me 20 cards or it's going to be so disjointed that it might take some effort. But it actually, I think it flowed pretty nicely. And again, I'm not surprised that it played into a lot of the stuff that's already coming out. Because that's how, I mean, and I go live fairly often, so uh, no problem. Thank you. Thank you, Kathy, for your presence, your participation, your generosity, your everything. So, Dreams of Gaia. Give me one last card, please. I kind of want to take this one. You see this one? Oh, no, I'm not taking it. I think that was the Three of Water, maybe. It's just a card with an image, and I'm just like, wait, I should have taken it. Ooh, it's fine. No, I'm going to say now, it'll come out if it's supposed to. Y'all know. You see a card, and you're like, oof, I don't want this card, and then it falls out anyway. And you're like, oh, I guess I'm taking it. That's like 5 cards. It's actually 4. The bottom of the deck is the Two of Earth. This feels like a portal energy. Maybe. It's almost like you are the portal, though. You are the portal. We are the portal. It's like when we go out into the world, we have an opportunity. Oh, I saw that. It was probably at a church that I passed on the street, but there was something that was like, be the hope that someone wants to find in the world or something like that. And it's just like when we show up in real life and even in cyber life and digital life, when we interact and engage with others, we have the opportunity to show them better, to show them more. Now, it can be triggering for people, um, just as it can be inspirational. Sometimes the inspiration comes with the trigger, though. Yeah. So the 4 cards. I told you. Did I or did I not say? Did I or did I not say the card that shows itself that you don't want, it will come out. It will fall out of the deck, and it was the Three of Water. There it is. There's the card that I was like, ooh, what's this one? And then I saw this. I saw that and I was like, nope, putting it back. I think that's the Three of Water. And here she is. There she is. She's like, yes, yes, it is I. The child again. The child came out with the ancient ones in the Earthkeeper, mystical shaman oracle cards. The Three of Water, the child, the Three of Earth, and the father. I put the father back in the deck, and I was like, I didn't really talk about the father, um, but the father is out again. We have the child and the father. It's interesting that we don't see the mother as the mother with the child, because usually it's the mother and the child. The Three of Earth, the child, the Three of Water, the child, the Three of Earth, and the father. This child is so loved. Look at the child between such like carefree and nurturing energies. I think the father is reading like who that child comes to be when it's cared for and nurtured in that way. What was the bottom of the deck? The two. of earth. Look at these energies. These could be the parents. I think it's the eggs, though. So I guess the eggs are Fabergé. They're not white. These are the zeros. Doesn't it look like they can be in similar spaces too, though? Maybe this is one that I leave for you. I'm going to leave this one for you. So here is the two of earth that was at the bottom of the deck and the father. And then the three of water, the child, and the three of earth. I really want to hold it up so you can see all these fully. That's for you. Take it in, pause it if you need. But I'm gonna move on to this other deck. I know, right? It's gorgeous. Where did the deck go? The box. Where did the box go? It's fine. I can put it away after. I don't need to hold up the live. Mystical Shaman Oracle cards. You took a screenshot? Nice. Ooh, look at this. The Luminous Warrior at the cut. On the other side is Mini Pants. Maybe the child does become the father. I mean, children do become fathers and mothers. That is a thing that children do with time and development and action. Hopefully consensual action. They become parents. But that's such, I feel like that's such a rare energy to see. An adult that doesn't have like trauma or baggage or stuff like that. And so they're able to just to still be an adult, but to be unburdened or lesser burdened. And it's that less, see, maybe the two of earth, it feels like the two of earth and the father sit in similar energies. Because there was a two of earth message that was like, we can be the portals for other people. We can be that person that they wish they would have come across, the one like, I wish someone would have been supportive and encouraging, or I wish my coworkers would have been this, I wish my friend would have been that, I wish somebody would have said this, would have done that, whatever. And maybe the father speaks more of like what we do for ourselves, because the three of earth is a really like nurturing energy. This is the father that would like take care of the child, but this father, we don't see him necessarily. Well, there's a little sun rattle, so maybe. I said this was for you. I'll break this down for myself. Okay. I'll unravel that for myself. You unravel it for yourself. All right. So, what's the John Mayer song? I'm thinking like, imagine all the people. Is that John Mayer? Okay. Mystical Shaman Oracle cards. Oof. All right. All right. All right. We got two cards. Oof. What's the bottom of the deck? Ooh. So the cards that came out, they flipped over. Number 60 and 39. Love a 3 and a 6. It's Vision Quest and Owl. The bottom of the deck is a 9. The bottom of the deck is a 9. Wait. We got a 3, we got a 6, and we got a 9. It's completion. The Vision Quest, completion, and the Owl? What? The Vision Quest, the Owl, and completion? That's kind of wild, right? And it's a 369. Okay, cute work. Completion feels like a portal again. That's John Lennon. Okay. I don't know anything about music. Okay. I don't know anything about a lot of things. Entertainment in general, I'm just like lost. Film, movies, film, TV, sports, music. You just spelled a whole. Are you drinking peanuts? I need some more peanuts. Vision Quest and completion. I saw it here too. Is this Bayonetta? Why does this look like the Bayonetta, the Umbral Witch herself? This is going to be another one for you. This is another one for you. So take it in. Try to not get my thumb in the way. How do I? There we go. And with all that being said, thank you, Zada, Kathy, Holly, for being here. I hope you all have an amazing whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And I hope that when the time comes for you to engage someone in their fullness and in their brilliance or something, I guess, that you don't shrink away and shy away from your own. And that you can allow for the full power of those dynamics to come forward, to come forward, or to come forward, or to come forth by being the active key component that you are. Right? So I will catch ya next time I catch you, and you're welcome. No problem. Glad to share this. Also, I'm glad that this one wasn't necessarily chili peppery, which is nice. I would love to like transition back into that like counselor type of energy. You know what I mean? The water ain't necessarily got to go full chili pepper. I don't know. I just want to like, I want to be softer. You know what I mean? I want to soften up a little bit.